Hey guys, so I haven't uploaded a video in a while just because it's been winter in Canada. I'm from Brampton, Ontario, so it's been like minus 20 or minus 30, in between minus 20 and minus 30 most of the time, and this is my backyard shed. Try to insulate it a little bit. It helps, not much, but I can work up until like minus 10 here with the heater on. It's a Vibor diesel heater. So but right now it's 0 degrees, so I can work comfortably. Actually, I'm wearing a t-shirt in here. So anyway, so this is a battery client brought me a couple of days ago, and due to winter weather, I told them it's gonna be, a while before I get to it, just because I cannot sit in the outside shed. So this one is showing, this one is 72 volts. I don't know how many amp hours, neither does the client. So this one is showing like 64 volts or something. So if I plug it in, so the man with one hand is still hard to do, but regardless, so let's try. Yeah. Oops. Oh, it's just shaking. So 64. And they said they charged it, and they went to like literally like 200 meters on the bike, and it died. So this battery is not in the best of shape. It is metal casing. Some of the screws are missing. You can see that. Actually, a bunch of screws are missing. So somebody did work on it before. They told me that, and they couldn't fix it. So let's see if we can. And yeah, even the wires are taped. We may have to change the wires. And I noticed even this negative wire is actually the insulation is off, or the tape is actually on the other side where they made a connection. So we may have to replace the wires, at the end. So the last guy, whoever worked on it, said that looks like some cells are dead, which I agree. Well, at least what I think it is. So what's probably happening that when they charge it, it charges, and as soon as they try to use the battery, and then those specific cells die, and then the BMS triggers, and it just cuts the power off. So and because of that, it may have just enough energy just to keep the BMS on. That's why it's showing 64 volts. So once I open it, and then if I get to the BM or the cell to cell level, then I'll be able to see if the rest of the cells are charged and one or two series of cells are low. That means those cells are bad. That's usually what happens. So, but let's see. So I'm gonna open up whatever the screws are left over, and then we'll see what's inside. So I just took those screws off and then the cover. So the wires are not in the greatest shape, but regardless, that's we can fix that later. So this is sealed all across. So I'm just gonna take a razor blade, like something like this, and I'll just cut through all the sealant, and then just turn it over, and then hopefully this battery will come off. I can feel actually the BMS is right there. I can also cut this shrink wrap, and then get access to it as well. So either way, so if we can go either way, but it's actually it says how many, 24 amp hours. So this is 24 amp hours, 72 volts. So we can put a label at the end later, because the client didn't know how many amp hours this battery had. So let's see what. So let's cut around it and see if it comes off easily. If not, then I'll just cut around the wrapper, so I don't have to go through all the labor of removing it. Okay, so I just decided to cut it open from the top, so because it's all sealed up. Not when I cut the seal, I think they put the glue underneath as well, so I would have to pull it out. It was not easy. So since the BMS was on top, so I'm like, okay, let's figure it out what's going on first. So this BMS, these are the balancing wires, so I'm gonna just take these off and test the cells one by one. the series and see if there's one lagging. All of them are the same. If all of them are going to be the same, then I'm going to charge the whole battery up and then start discharging and then monitor the cells. Okay, so I took it out from the box because with the wires, some cells were, well, it's 24S BMS, and so of course there are 25 wires, but the cell, the battery is 20S, which what I think is 20S, right? Because it's 72 volts. So the wire, I don't have the wiring diagram, so I had to follow the wires and see which one is low, the cells. So I had to remove it from the box so I can just follow the wires. When I was opening it, what I noticed is there's looks like a short circuit or something happened here, right? It caused a little bit of spark. So that raises a concern that's, of course, there was a spark of some kind. So let's open the whole thing up. Remove it from the shrink wrap and see what the hell is going on. Okay, so after opening the whole thing, so that is a 24S BMS, and it is 24S battery because lithium iron phosphate. So I'll put up a screenshot of my balancer when I plugged in all the wires with to my balancer. It showed the 7 series of cells, not the number 7, like 7 series. So it's like out of 24, 7 are dead. They're showing 0 volts, and I'll put up the screenshot on the video as I took it from the same camera. So that, of course, that makes sense. As soon as it gets charged, probably they're coming up to like 2 volts or something. So BMS is sending the power out and like 100 meters or less when they ride it, and the battery dies because those cells become 0. So so I told the client that if it was like 1 series, I would have replaced the cells. 7, and they're not like first 7, so they're like, I think 4 from the beginning, 2 at the end, and so they're like random. They're from they're starting and the end. Regardless, it's just too much labor for them to pay me to fix it. So I suggested that I gave them a code, of course, but also I told them it's not worth it, in my opinion, if they still want to have it fixed, because the problem with these batteries, with all these these are all these multiple cells. So if I let's say replace those cells, next thing you know, the ones that I didn't replace are gonna start dying. And then the client, in a month or 2 or 6, or even next season, they will come back and say, still not working, because they don't know, right, how it works. So, and then if I explain them, okay, the other cells died, the old cells, not the cells that I put in, but the other cells died, and they might understand, they might not, and then they may say, okay, or they may think, I'm just scamming them. So I understand their position as well. That's why I suggest them what I think is the best in terms of money, that it will cost them more in the long term. If it's like 1 series, sometimes what happens, like there's a spark happen, or the short circuit, and then those cells die of whatever reason, right? So you replace one series of cells, and at least, because there's still a lot of battery left, all the cells, the good cells, there's still a lot of good cells. But if they're like 7 out of 24, so that's like almost like 30% of cells are gone. Right, and it's just not worth it, because it's just the labor. It's not the cells themselves. The problem is just the labor, and then the cost. Because I'll have to open the whole thing. I'll have to desolder all the wires, remove the BMS, and then remove those cells. With those tabs, because they're all attached to one another. That takes a lot of work. So that if seven series to remove and replace would take me at least 6 hours or more. Right, and then the cost of the cell, cost of the material that I'm gonna have to put in new strips, and rewiring and all that stuff, and then next you're still at risk because what if the other good cell die next week or next month or 2 months down the road? So it's just not worth it. Plus, these cells are not the common cells, right? So I may gonna have to. These are 3,000 milliamp hour lithium iron phosphate cells. So even if I do find another similar 3,000 milliamp hour cell, the IR might be different. So those cells might be draining and charging first compared to the other cells, the old cells. So that will give them reduced capacity, because they will die or they will charge first and then trigger the BMS to stop charging, even though they were still charging, the old ones. And same thing, these ones will discharge first because of less resistance compared to the other ones. They might still have power, but these ones will die first. Let's say if I replace this one, that's what I'm pointing it out. And then that will trigger the BMS again that, hey, I'm too low to stop the current output. So that will trigger the BMS to stop working. So that's just not a good idea if to replace that many cells because of labor, and then the cost that it will cause the client to at the end of the day, it will cost them more, and then it still will be risky battery for me to hand out to the client and say, oh yeah, you should be good now, because you just don't know when the other cell's gonna die. So anyway, so I told the client what's going on, and I suggested them, hey, you know what, it's I can just build them a new battery if they want to. So let's see what they say. Most likely they will not go with the repair, just because the cost will be is actually very close to what I can build from the scratch. But anyway, so that's up to them. The only good part about this one is this lithium iron phosphate. I usually build it on NCM batteries. So it's like 4.2 volts. This one is 3.65 volts fully charged. So that's just one good part of this one is the lithium iron phosphate, a little bit more secure in terms of safety. So, but anyway, that's the client's decision. And what I'm still trying to do, if you notice, I have these wires plugged in to the balancing wires, and I'm trying to charge manually with a very low rate. It's like 0.5 amps, and it's 24s. Oh, sorry, not 24 amp hour. So there's like 8 cells in parallel, 8 cells. So I'm trying to very slowly charge first series of cell, the dead one, and if it revives, then it works. I mean, it will not. It will still be risky, but at least it will be less cost to the client if they revive. There's 7 of them, so I'm just trying to revive one for now, and see if if it holds the charge. Right now, from 0, it went up to 62 or 0.62 volts while it's being charged at 0.5 amps. I don't think it will work like all 7 of them, but since I'm not doing anything, I'll just keep it like this and then see in a couple of hours if it goes up. So it already went up to 62 from 0, so you never know. But that's another way to try to fix it without replacing all the cells. And it has worked in the past, like me charging it from 0 on a very slow rate. But that was like 1 or 2 series of cells max. I've never done 7, and then they all revive and work later on. So yeah, it's a long shot, but why not? But anyway, so that's all for today. So that will be up to the client, of course. If they want me to build a new battery, then I can build. I already, there's one battery right there. There's one there. That one's already sold. There's one there. I can actually offer them that. That's a 20 amp hour, 72 volts. So I can offer them that as well if they are up to it. And also there's this is 24 volts, but that's for the another client, and they asked me to build. So yeah, so spring's gonna come in a couple of months, so I'm just starting to build batteries again. But yeah, so the reason, of course, as I mentioned, the winter, it's hard to sit here and then work on the batteries and stuff because it's so damn cold. So right now, that's all I have for today, and see you on the next video.